So what's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we got the top 5 SMGs for season 9. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who dropped a like, a comment on the last video. I really appreciate it and thank you for the support. I hope you like the new type of videos that I've got going on. Yeah, so let's get right into it. First of all, this season the SMGs pretty much are very well balanced, except more for maybe the two burst SMGs, the Pharaoh and the Chicken. But the Pharaoh is said to be getting a nerf very soon to its damage and recoil, so I don't think it'll be a one burst close range anymore. But yeah, this list will only be featuring the auto fire machine guns and not the burst ones. So to be fair on the SMGs and to not just base it purely on my opinion, I've actually played a lot with these SMGs. You can see I've got the gold completionist camo for at least 5 SMGs at the moment, and yeah. So first up we have the RUS, which has always been a really good gun and pretty much been the meta for SMGs for a while now. But this season I feel like it's not really that good anymore because it's been nerfed and the damage is now a 5-shot kill, and there's been a damage nerf to the lower body as well. So it deals less damage to the lower body now, so it's no longer a very fast killing SMG. However, it's still got good mobility and pretty good range. But I think the Cordite stands out above the Rust this season because it's pretty much very similar to each other, and I'm pretty sure the Cordite's got a faster fire rate than the RUS, and the hip fire is pretty tight as it's always been. The attachments on the Cordite are pretty broken because you get an extended mag with 92 bullets, and you can make the hip fire range even more longer than it was before. Yeah, so the Rust really isn't gonna be a top 5 SMG for me at least anymore. So next up we have the Cordite, the most broken gun of season 8. But this season it's been heavily nerfed. It's 24 damage close range to the upper body, which makes it a 5-shot kill close to medium range. Yeah, but the rate of fire of the Cordite is faster than that of the RUS, so the Cordite is pretty much gonna kill a person faster than the RUS, and it's still got pretty good mobility, a good hip fire, and an insane magazine size with the new attachments. So yeah, definitely gonna put the Cordite above the Rust this season. And if anyone missed out on getting the Cordite last season, you can still get it in the events right now in the game. So definitely get it because it's a very good gun right now. Next up on the list we have the GKS, probably one of the most underrated guns of the season. It's got 28 damage close range to medium range, and there's no lower body nerf. So that's a 4-shot kill, which is gonna put it above the Cordite and the Rust. And with the 1.3 times headshot multiplier, which allows you to get 36 damage close range. If you can get 2 headshots and 1 body shot, you can potentially 3-shot a person close range. The only downside to the gun being its slow rate of fire, which stops it from being the #1 SMG in the game right now. Otherwise the gun's got pretty clean iron sights, good range with little recoil, very tight hip fire, and the attachments on the GKS are pretty good right now because you can build it to different playstyles. You can make it heavily based on hip fire, you can make it a very fast ADS SMG, and also you can build it for range. So the GKS is a very versatile SMG, and it's got very good damage close range, which makes the time to kill very good. So it's definitely number 4 in my list for top 5 SMGs. So next up on the list we have the HG40, definitely another very underrated gun which has probably never been used as an SMG in the previous seasons. But this season the HG40, very similar to the GKS in terms of damage and range, also deals 28 damage close range to medium range. But the headshot multiplier is not as big as the GKS. So you don't have the potential 3-shot with the HG40. But in the game, a headshot is very lucky because most of the time you're aiming to the upper body, the chest area, and not the head. So on most occasions the HG40 is gonna outgun the GKS due to its slightly higher rate of fire. but it's got pretty much the same damage stats. Also, a thing to be noted is the HG40 has a lot of movement based attachments, whereas most of the SMGs you'll be sacrificing your movement or ADS speed. However, the HG40 has a couple of attachments which will help you buff the movement and the ADS speed. So definitely above the GKs in the list. I'm not going to really say where it's going to be placed on my list right now, but yeah, definitely a very good gun, good movement in the gun, and a very fast time to kill. So definitely try the gun out if you haven't tried it out yet. It's a very underrated gun, but it's very good. Yeah, so moving on, next in the list we have the QQ9, which has probably been the best SMG last season, but going into this season it has been heavily nerfed, and it's said to be getting another nerf soon. So yeah, the lethal zones in the QQ9 have been changed from last season. If you haven't noticed, the arms actually have a 0.9 multiplier from the rest of the body. You deal less damage to both the arms and the legs, and the only effective lethal zone is the chest area. So if you have noticed in the game, when you're going into a head-to-head gunfight, the arms would cover most of the chest area, which would potentially make the QQ9 a fire shot, pretty similar to the Rust and the Cordite, but the QQ9 has a very good fire rate, probably only second to the Msmc. So it's still a very fast killing SMG, and there is this attachment that's supposedly going to increase the damage in the QQ9, but right now it's not working because I've tried it out. But with the nerf that's coming up, I'm pretty sure the attachment would help bring it back up to a usable level, the gun. So the QQ9 does 25 damage close range to the chest area and 22 damage to the arms and legs. So it's still a very good gun to use because the fire rate compensates for the damage, and the QQ9's the best SMG for movement right now. So it definitely is still in the top 5 SMGs right now. So moving on, next we have the Razorback, which used to be just another different skin for the PTW with the same stats, but this season it's a completely different gun, and it's a very good gun with regards to its damage as an SMG. The gun's pretty confusing as it can be used as an AR and an SMG, but the downsides of the gun being a very slow ADS time, and the attachments are very limited because it prevents you from having good movement for the gun. But all in all, it does 30 damage close range, which is the highest damage from the SMGs, and it's got a faster fire rate than the HG40 and the GKs. So in theory it kills faster than both the GKs and the HG40, and the GKs is already number 4 on the list. So yeah, the Razorback's a really good gun in this season, but it's also got many downsides to it. The attachments don't really help make the gun a very good SMG because it's not a run and gun weapon, and this season the ARs are very overpowered, and you're probably better off with an AR, using an AR than the Razorback for medium range gunfights. But close range it's still very good. So if you can make it a very aggressive build, it's still going to be one of the best SMGs in the game. Because keep in mind, 30 damage close range and 27 damage to the lower body with the 0.9 reduction is still an insane amount of damage, and with the faster fire rate it's gonna give you a very fast time to kill. So this is gonna definitely put the Razorback in the top 5 in my SMGs list. So moving on, next we have the PTW, which used to give the fastest time to kill close range with a 4-shot kill, I presume. But going into this season, it's been heavily nerfed. The damage is the lowest in all of the SMGs. I mean, it's still got pretty good movement and stuff, but the damage nerf really doesn't do the PTW much good to be used as an SMG anymore. I'm definitely going to pass on the PTW, not a top 5 SMG this season. So coming up next on the list, we have the Msmc. So if you've been using it since season 1 and season 2, you know how good the gun was before they nerfed it. It used to be the best SMG hands down in the game. This season it's pretty much come back to the same level, but not as much because the magazine size is still very low, and to increase the magazine size you're going to sacrifice a lot. But all in all, The gun's got a very fast fire rate, probably the fastest. It's the fastest fire rate for an SMG right now, and the fastest time to kill point blank close range up to 5 meters. The gun literally melts people, but the downside being the very low magazine size and a fair bit of vertical recoil. It doesn't have the lateral recoil that it used to have when it was nerfed. So you have to be very accurate with the Msmc so you don't miss a bunch of bullets because you don't have a lot of bullets. All in all, the magazine size makes the Msmc a very advanced weapon to use, and the skill cap's very high on the gun. But if you can master it, and the movement and the reload time in between gunfights, it's definitely one of the best SMGs to be used right now. So if you've been playing the game for a while, definitely try it out. If you've tried it out before in season 1 and 2, give it a try again, because it's a very good gun right now in the season. But if you're starting out, it's definitely not the gun for you, because it's got a very high skill cap, but it's very fun to use. Try it out, and definitely a top 5 SMG this season. So if you're here, moving on to my top 5 SMG list this season. In the number 5 spot, as you can see, we have the Razorback. It's a really good SMG with a very fast time to kill, but the downside being its attachments really don't help the gun that much, and it makes the SMG very sturdy, and I personally don't like that in an SMG, and that's why puts it below my number 4 spot, which is the GKS, which has a slightly higher time to kill than the Razorback, but its attachments and the mobility make up for it, because you can build it up to your preference and playstyle. So coming up in my number 3 spot for the best SMGs, we got the QQ9, which is still one of the best SMGs in the game and used very often in ranked games by a lot of players and YouTubers. So coming into the number 2 spot, we have the HG40. So the HG40 can probably be swapped into the number 1 spot, but the number 1 spot is held by my favorite SMG. So if you see in the comp scene in CODM before, the meta guns to be used are always the versatile ones and not the ones that specialize. So the HG40 is a very versatile gun. So it takes the number 2 spot in my best SMGs for this season. And coming into the number 1 spot, if you already guessed it, it's the Msmc. It's back, it's got an insane time to kill, insane movement, and it's very good and it's very fun to use. But as I said before, the HG40 can be swapped with the Msmc. This is my personal top 5 SMGs for this season. So if you like this video, put a comment down below, subscribe, put a like, let me know what you think and what your opinions are on the SMGs this season. And hopefully you're still here and you like the video, and hopefully it wasn't too boring. I'll try to improve on my commentary. I'm super thirsty right now. I'm gonna grab some water. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.